Hello everyone and welcome to our presentation. We are Lauren, Janine, Adron and Kalisha, and we will be going through our placemaking presentation in the city of Maribyrnong. As we go through our presentation today, we ask you to imagine a neighbourhood abundant in native flora and fauna, saturated with positive interactions between residents and wildlife, a place that can support rich biodiversity and sustainable futures. How would this affect your livelihood? Before we begin, we would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung and the Bunurong people of the Kulin Nation as the traditional custodians of the land from which we present today. For today's presentation, we will begin with an analysis of the site and a brief explanation of the main issues. This will be followed by an evaluation of the corresponding stakeholders and their values. We will then talk about our main goals and actions explored through our interventions map, project timeline, and implementation framework, and conclude with the barriers and risks associated with this project and a final summary. Our chosen site is the suburb of Yarraville in Maribyrnong City local government area in Melbourne's inner west. This place was a significant meeting place for the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung and the Bunurong people. Presently, it is an affluent family-centred suburb. At the time of the 2016 census, around 15,000 people were residents. It hosts several cultural hubs and high-density residential housing. Stony Creek is an ecologically important waterway that runs diagonally through the suburb and is surrounded by Cruikshank Park and with the Yarraville Community Garden at the park space. From our SWOT analysis, we found that key habitat is disconnected from other green spaces. Nearby industrial zoning is having large air quality impacts, leaving unpleasant sensory experiences for residents and animals, and dense residential housing has led to a lack of quality open space.
Our vision is to create high-quality spaces that support sustainable futures for all residents in Yarraville through regenerative and nature-based community and governance collaborations. Our vision is supported by three goals. Biodiversity and habitat is the main issue we identified in this area, alongside the issues of climate change and governance. Our vision is aided by our three main goals stemming from our main issues. Firstly, we aim to support biodiversity and ecosystem resilience through various educative and collaborative approaches to protect and restore habitat and promote positive human-nature interactions. Secondly, we seek to promote place-based initiative by engaging and collaborating with various stakeholders to introduce quality green spaces for all community members. Finally, we will provide infrastructure that encourages the community to build social ecological adaptability and resilience through sustainable living practices. We have listed a variety of stakeholders who have a stake in this project and place in relation to all three of our identified issues. These stakeholders consist of, firstly, habitat and biodiversity stakeholders, such as the trees and plants, pollinators and wildlife, biodiversity groups, and community gardening groups. Secondly, the governance stakeholders comprising the developers, Maribyrnong City Council, and Victoria State Government, retail business owners, and funders of the project. And finally, our sustainability stakeholders, who are the design consultants, non-profit organizations, Yarraville residents, council, and environmental authorities. Based on our community engagement through digital placemaking tactics, we located numerous Google and Facebook reviews of our sites of engagement. Based on our findings, our stakeholders valued biodiversity and habitat, existing trees, and tree canopy cover found in these areas. We then compiled the recurring words in this word cloud. It is clear that themes like restoring nature, places together, and healthy lifestyles are important values to local stakeholders.
Referring to our map of interventions, we have established key areas where our actions will be carried out in Yarraville. The first area, A1, called the Green Haven, is located at the heart of Stony Creek. The second area, A2, is the flexible space near the major Somerville Road. A3 is a community hub situated within the main business district. And finally, A4 is a hidden reserve near the Stony Creek Reserve on Hyde Street. Our implementation timeline breaks down the 4 key areas of our project. Ranging from short to long-term phases, we propose that our actions will be implemented over the course of 2 years. Our interventions regarding medium to large-scale development, specifically pocket parks, community parklets, and pedestrian infrastructure, are estimated to take longer than actions such as recycling projects, verge gardens, and street trees. This is due to lengthy approvals and communication with the local authorities and participating stakeholders. Whilst this may be the case, we aim to collaborate with the community throughout all processes, beginning with planning through activation and implementation stages and up until monitoring and evaluation. In the long run, this will inform us on whether the interventions are positively impacting the space and residents, or they will need to be redesigned. Our interventions begin by transforming closed street networks into pocket parks as a way of not only increasing social cohesion and residents' access to green space, but further enhancing biodiversity within the neighbourhood. Street trees will be implemented along residential areas that lack canopy cover to increase tree diversity, provide additional shade, and reduce urban heat island effects. This will also assist in increasing habitats for animals and pollinators. Wildlife corridors and verge gardens will additionally provide support towards biodiversity and ecosystem resilience, as it will increase habitat connectivity, enhance quality of place, and contribute to the green experiences within the neighbourhood. Although this will require active civic participation, end results will lead to a strengthened and connected community. Additionally, we propose introducing business community parklets to provide flexible seating, increased planting around central areas, and reduction in congestion around main streets. Community wildlife gardens run by interest groups and community members as a way of educating residents and introducing diverse native plants and microhabitats. This will increase encounters with nature and wildlife for those who may have little knowledge and skills, and encourages all backgrounds to socialize through nature. Similarly, education workshops and interventions will allow for collaboration between various stakeholders and the enhancement of green spaces. This intervention will build knowledge and skills which can then be utilized in the workforce or towards educating other community members. And our final interventions revolve around sustainable practices such as recycling of local and reclaimed materials. This will see the collection of plastics which can then be used towards developing infrastructure for the neighbourhood. And to encourage families, children, and other members to get involved, we propose friendly and fun community competitions, interactive worksheets such as recycling bingo, and fun upcycling projects. Lastly, increasing cycling facilities and pedestrian walkways between green spaces and key areas as a way of encouraging more sustainable modes of transport and improve accessibility, safety, and diversity.
The improvement of this place is driven by the community's values and desires. Based on our discussions and analysis, we understood different stakeholders' priorities of what they need and could be improved. The reasons behind our proposal is to build connections between humans and nature, enhance overall health and well-being, as well as improve environmental adaptabilities and resilience to climate change. Secondly, create the place that the people would like to spend most of the time in, create more social interactions places and a welcoming environment. Thirdly, provide more greenery space and create more habitats for wildlife and improve the qualities of the living environment. Implementations will require active supports from both state governments and local councils to provide fundings and oversee the implementations of the interventions. To decrease pressures from governing bodies and increase communities' engagement, monitorings and evaluations of these interventions will be delegated to various stakeholders, including the local communities and interest groups, retail business, and private organizations. The barriers and risks associated with the proposed interventions include gaining council approval, active participations from varying stakeholders, conflicting views and interests, and limitations in cost and resources. To combat this, we aim to provide full transparencies to the communities, implements the actions in a small, accurate stage to build trust and positive interactions, and diversified forms of engagements to cater for all residents. In conclusions, our placemaking proposal responds to the requests and desires of local stakeholders. It details a comprehensive set of interventions that improve the biodiversities and habitats availabilities, the governance collaborations, and the sustainable livelihoods of all Yarraville's residents. Through these interventions, we hope to establish meaningful places in Yarraville that connects people with nature, engage the communities, and inspire more regenerative, nature-based placemaking practice in the rest of Victoria. Thank you.